All right, folks, taking the kids out mushroom hunting. Day of the solar eclipse, April 8, 2024. And we've got a pin oak tree. We've got what I call duff from the pin oak tree. Right there. And we have our kids out here. But boom. Nice yellow. It's just starting, folks. It's really been just starting for a while, but the early ones started to pop up and the weather turned cold on us. So anyway, we've got another one. That's number 3 for today, and we're going to continue on checking out this this whole field edge has pin oaks on it. Used to be pasture out there. It's my food plot now. But that's the south sky, and if you notice this tree, it's hard to tell, but it's almost black. It's a really dark gray to black tree, and they produce mushrooms, and they produce the early ones, I believe, because the sun hits the tree, warms up the wood, which warms up the roots a little bit earlier, which warms up the ground around the roots a little bit earlier, which produces 55-degree ground temps earlier than most trees. There is another tree called a cottonwood that is honestly my favorite mushroom hunting tree in the right conditions. It's, to me, my biggest patches of my life have came underneath dead cottonwoods, and I've hit some giant patches. I've hit many patches over 500 and some over 1,000. So hopefully we'll get into one this year that you guys get to be a part of. But until then, we're just going to continue on looking for some more mushrooms. Zoe, that's a pin oak right there. That little tree to your right and that one to your left. Yeah, both of them actually. So there should be a mushroom around here. And this is what will happen if, well, I just found a couple, but I knew they were there. Anyways, my wife found this spot. Didn't find it.
I found one.
I know, on the backside of the tree. But anyway, there was 9 mushrooms growing right here earlier in the year. And there's a piece of one. They started on March 24th that we found them, and they were just literally about that tall, and a couple of them were about that tall. And you can see, here's one. This is what happens when you get, we've had a ton of rain. This one never matured. It got soggy. These matured, but they broke off. I know they look like they were picked, but that's what happens. So some of your early spots when the mushrooms aren't there, if you had a unseasonably warm season or unseasonably warm March, and then the mushrooms start to pop, and then the temperature turns into regular March, which happens a lot in the area that I'm in, then all the mushrooms end up just dying. 6, 7. So this is only 2 weeks after we found them, and those were gone. By April 27th or 8th, those 2 had popped up. Hang on. Yep, those 2 popped up, and this one. And we're gonna go ahead and pick them, because you see how open the ridges are? And put your hand up there, Zoe. They're good sized mushrooms.
Dad, can I pick it? No.
Hang on, let me get you picking them. Oops.
No, I want to pick one. No,
Let Piper pick one.
Okay, pick one.
All right, and see how they left the stump? That's how you want to do it, so that these mushrooms may grow back in the exact same spot next year. I promise. People don't believe me, but I pick the same mushrooms every single year, a lot of the time. I don't know if here's another pin oak. Kind of not a poor example. You can see that the limbs are pointing down, but I cut all the lower limbs because I put a trail camera on this. As you can tell, this is my food plot. One of them. My smallest one actually, and it's probably pushing 2 acres. So anyway, I usually find some mushrooms by this pin oak out in the middle of the field. That said, it's been extremely windy, and a lot of the mushrooms that popped up early, we didn't get the heat, or we didn't have the temperatures once they popped, and moisture is not always your friend, especially when it's cold moisture, and it turns, just like in your fridge, it turns them to mush and they disappear. So a lot of things got to go right to for the morel to show itself at a reasonable sized. And my kid's showing off a morel walking stick I made, and this one was from a beaver chewed sycamore, I believe, which is one of my favorite walking sticks. Make no smoothing necessary, the beaver does it for you. All right, folks, it's April 8th, and like I said, I'm in central Indiana, up to north central. I'm not in southern Indiana, that's for sure. But that's a sycamore. Very good tree to find mushrooms by, especially with like all those sticker bushes and bush honeysuckle. But today we're focusing on the early ones. The sycamores are some of the last. Let me show you why. Takes a long time for the sun to get through the leaves and warm up the ground underneath so that the soil temperature can get higher, but once it does, sycamores are very good. I'm not gonna say they're the best producers by any means, but they're consistent. You can usually find some by sycamores, especially the duff. But like I said, we're focusing on the warmer trees, which are black. Sycamores are white at the top. They're a little bit dark brown at the bottom, scaly depending on how big the tree is and how much bark it's lost. Morels. Anyway, we're gonna try this one. That was a no-go. There wasn't anything by it, but here's another pin oak and the even better morel, or morel, elm. Better for morels. Better elm tree. And what I like about this elm tree, if you notice, there's about a 6-inch grapevine, about 4 or 5-inch grapevine coming off of it, which causes disturbance in the wind and the shaking and death of the tree. And this elm particularly produces early, mainly because it's at the base of a very small hill, maybe 6 foot tall. It has full sun to the south. Sky's not there, so it gets sun all day in this particular location, because also not only is it at the base of the hill, but it sticks out from the hill itself. If you look at the contour of the hill, it comes back and then goes back out. Well, this is out here on this point, so it gets more sun. You see my kids over there looking, but I see one. Do you see it, Berkeley?
I see it.
You see another one?
I see it.
This one's easy to see.
I see that one. It's small. It's not the biggest one.
Nope, it's been there for, hang on.
It's kind of dried up.
Let's see, I found that one last Wednesday, so it's been there for about 6 or 7 days. No, it ain't dried up at all.
Oh, can I feel it? It's squished.
Go ahead and pick it.
You have to dig it out.
Here, I'm gonna use my knife.
Please, please.
Yep, this is my middle child's first time cutting a mushroom. Good job.
Nope. Oh, no, not that. Put that in there. Sorry.
No, I'll get it. I opened it. I'll close it.
I don't know how to.
This is a new one that I haven't seen yet. Here's one just popping up. And like I said, elm tree, same spot, but look directly underneath this vine. I promise vines have something to do with it.
Oh my gosh. Can I cut it?
Isn't that awesome? I love morels. I
No,
love
you may pick it.
the way they, yep, go
Why
ahead.
is there a slug on every one of them?
Slugs eat them. Slugs love morels. If you look right here, If you look right there, that's where the slug has been eating it. Where the ridges are gone.
So now we need to pick it so we can eat.
Now we need to pick it so we can eat it. That's right. All right, so that's the 4th mushroom I picked this year off that tree. Like I said, we started finding mushrooms this year. Tomorrow is usually the first day I start finding mushrooms, and we've been finding them for 2 weeks. Not very many, but I've had 2 plates full, and boom, those are beautiful. Well, I hope you guys learned something, and that concludes, we just took about a 20-minute trip. Everybody's off today because of the eclipse, and we found enough to eat, so we're not done for the day, but we got other stuff to do. Are you serious?
It's right here.
Okay, thank you. Yep, there it is on the end of the stick.
A mushroom.
All right, stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe.
Comment down below.
And comment down below, Berkeley says.
I always do that.
Ask any questions. I'm not an expert on morel hunting, but I don't know what it takes to be an expert on morel hunting. But I am good at it, and I find lots every year. A very bad year for me is around 20 pounds, and a very great year for me is over 100. It all depends on properties I can gain access to. I do a lot of state property hunting and the season itself. I don't usually travel much more than 75 miles either direction either, so just depends on how well the season was. Like 2 years ago, it almost skipped our area completely. Actually last year. I found almost all Morchella diminutiva and not Americana. And so far this year, I've only picked 1 diminutiva, and the rest have been Americanas and what I call woods mushrooms or black mushrooms. Anyway, like I said, like, share, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And like Berkeley says, comment down below.